Luke, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on right now.
Yeah, man. Name's Luke Bondy, from Scottsdale slash Fountain Hills, Arizona now. I originate from Detroit.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a builder and developer, both two in one. And we're working on a 6 unit luxury townhouse development right down the street, Fountain Hills, Arizona. And back in Detroit, we're building about 40 units or so.
Wow. So for people who don't know, what's the difference between builder and developer?
Yeah, builder is the guy who maybe he's a self performer, but a lot of times it's a building company or construction company will have a superintendent, handful of project managers working for them. Whereas a developer usually is like the business mind behind
Mm,
the building, if that makes sense. So
okay.
they're looking at dirt, looking at opportunities. They're looking at the capital stack, finance, like how they're going to pay for this thing. Is it going to make sense? Does the math out? And then the actual builder is the executor, the person who brings that thing to life, if you will.
Got it. So a little more like vision and capital skill required from the developer. A
For
little
sure.
more like know-how, hammer swinging required from the builder.
Exactly. So it's kind of rare, actually. People think of it usually not as two separate things, but they're totally separate.
Yeah. How did you start? Which one came first?
Builder.
Okay.
Yeah, builder. Naturally, my mind is developer. Like that's my baseline. I'd
Oh,
say I'm an
okay.
entrepreneur. But yeah, I got into building first.
Okay. So day to day right now is projects here, projects in Detroit, teams in both places.
So we're about to break ground on the project here in Arizona.
Okay.
And day to day, yeah, we have an active team of about 10 people back in Detroit, multiple job sites, project managers, superintendents, assistant superintendents. Yeah,
Mm.
running the job sites day to day.
And how long you been doing that back there?
10 years almost in June. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
also invest too, right? Like you keep some of those for
Oh yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Because yeah, otherwise, what's the point, right? You're building it and handing it away to someone else. Yeah, I have long-term rentals, short-term rentals, a mix of different developments that we've
Mm.
held on to, and some that we've bought for various tax purposes.
I think that's good to know because I think there's a lot of benefit from an investor standpoint, knowing that you understand the end game.
Yeah,
That doing it yourself, you're not just going like, oh, well, this pencils in order to sell. You also understand like how to underwrite to make it pencil to hold. And so working with an investor, the appreciation of like, oh, this guy's doing this himself. He understands these different exit strategies. I'm sure
yeah.
that's probably not common for a lot of builders and developers.
No, it's pretty rare. I mean, honestly, what happens most time in Detroit is someone comes in, they're from out of town, or they're from even out of the country sometimes, and they're like, "Hey, I got this development, this deal. I want you to potentially build it." And so they end up talking to me, and I end up walking them through all these things that they haven't really thought of before.
Mm,
And essentially, once they realize, well, this guy's built, he's sold townhouses, he's built, apartment buildings for other people. He knows the market, the Detroit market, so well, just because it's where I'm from. I lived for a while,
yeah.
and they end up leaning on me probably more as like a consultant, as like a developer consultant, even though at the end of the day, I'm technically just a general contractor with a little bit of, an equity position in the deal.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us back. How did you get started in all this?
Yeah, man.
Did you go to
It's
school for
No,
this? Like,
I have a finance degree, so kind
okay.
of for the development
Okay.
stuff, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, so my dad was a custom home builder. It's 2016. I'm leading a missions trip in Nicaragua, and you get one of those unfortunate events. You come home and something's not right with the family, and so I can't believe I'm still getting emotional. It's
Mm,
been a while. I processed this years ago, but it still brings me back to that place. But my dad passed away, heart attack suddenly, and
while you were away?
yeah, like
Wow.
that night before I got home.
Wow.
And so I had a decision to make for my family. He had a $13 an hour employee, uh, you know, and that was it. And he had 20 units under construction, roughly, a
Wow.
28 unit development. And so as a 24-year-old, I bootstrapped it. I decided like, hey, like there's no good way out of this,
Mm-hmm.
for my mom, really, for my family.
Mm,
And also I had that desire, man, just to do something good with my life, honestly, and the opportunity. And so just figured it out. And thankfully he had tons of great trades he developed relationships with for 15, 20 years that
mm.
brought me under their wings, taught me how, things are supposed to be. But yeah, and a crazy experience, one of the most unique experiences in my life. It was it was like I had a living example of how construction works. One site's a hole in the ground. The next one's a foundation. The next one's decked. The next one's framed in fully. The next one's getting roughed, all the way through the finished stages of construction.
This is these are the 20 projects that are going on.
Yeah, in the
They're
same
all at
area. They're
different
all next to each
phases.
other. I'm like a visual learner. I can see this. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, and one of the last conversations I had with my dad, I had at that point in my life never expressed any interest in becoming a builder. I didn't know what that was. I didn't think about it, didn't care, necessarily about that. But one of the last conversations I had was he said to me, "You're going to be a great builder one day." Out of nowhere, we're talking about a flip house. We just bought our first flip. We were going to, rehab it and whatever. I was getting some technical details about legal structure and all these boring things. And he just looked at me and said it with this profound, bold voice. And it spoke to me so much. I'm like, why'd you say that, first of all? That was a weird statement. I don't even know what that means to be a builder. But I went home that night, told my wife, like, my dad just said this crazy thing to me, like in this tone that I'd never heard before. It spoke to my soul, because 30 days later he was gone. And so, fast forward, here I am today. Like, I didn't give up on that. We finished that development successfully. And I'd say it was the hardest and most rewarding experience of my life. Yeah.
That was what year?
2016.
Wow. So over the last 10 years, what have you been doing?
Dude, I just been building stuff. Yeah. Honestly, took those skills, got into custom homes a little bit more.
Okay.
And 2018 rolls around. I buy dirt in Detroit, an area called North Corktown.
Okay.
Found dirt, checked some boxes. I figured back in the napkin math, we could build it for less than we'd sell it for. And about 2 weeks later, after getting under contract, Ford announces we're going to renovate the train station. It was this huge, big deal, Michigan Central Station. And caught the news attention. Everyone's excited because it was a huge blight in that community. People started telling me, "That's a fantastic idea. You bought that property because Ford's going in." I said, I got under contract before Ford announced that, just, to make that clear. But yeah, so did the first deal in Detroit, North Corktown 11. It was successful, thankfully. And
that was the first deal for yourself?
for myself.
Before that, everything you were building was for other people?
100%. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So since then, man, we've doubled down in that neighborhood. I've done probably 3 or 4 more deals similar size to that.
Wow.
And
you still own all those to this day?
no, so built and sold townhouses, but also in conjunction, did build some specs, duplexes, got a couple STRs in that exact neighborhood. And what I'm most excited about in North Corktown is we're about to break ground later this year on a 25-unit townhouse development. It's a build and rent model, though.
Okay.
And so I'm, the most invested in North Corktown. We just really took a liking to it geographically. It's a great place to live. It's 5 minutes from Midtown at Corktown, and kind of looking at the overall vision of our impact and my impact in Detroit, I'd say it's North Corktown.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What else do you like about the market?
Detroit market?
Or that specific area? Because I feel like I haven't heard a ton of positive
it's
things coming out of Detroit.
It's low key. So if you look into positive things, come on, man. You look at Detroit, Midtown, Brush Park, downtown, Central Business District, all the big players are rolling down there. You got a handful of billionaires that are, building skyscrapers, like huge developments. And so we chose North Corktown. Number one, it was almost coincidence when I bought the dirt. It was proximity, high level math. But since that, we doubled down multiple times into North Corktown. It's really because it's a place where, it's a sandbox big enough for a guy my size to kind of play in. Whereas the heavy hitters, the big billionaires are down in Central Business District. And a tier lower than that is the kind of like secondary midtown markets as far as like, the size and the scale of the development. So we like it. It's kind of like a little neighborhood for us to play in, I guess.
Yeah. And how did you end up out in Arizona?
Great question. So, being a Midwest boy, you wouldn't think I'd choose the desert. My wife, coincidentally, I'm believing coincidences, but coincidentally got a headache fellowship. She's a neurologist at Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
And Scottsdale, Arizona. So 2024, we moved out here. And
what was that decision like? Because obviously your whole business is based in Detroit. You've got boots on the ground,
scary.
projects.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. A little nerve wracking. I think, some folks back at home, maybe some family had some, thoughts about it, a little apprehensive about us moving across the United States. From a business standpoint, it was challenging, honestly, but thankfully I had a runway of about 6 months where I could gear up for it. And it was experimental. I didn't honestly know how it was going to go. But I can say what I learned most of all is that most of what I was doing at that point, there was somebody more experienced, more qualified that was willing to come work with me and be on my team that could fill that gap. And so, very thankfully, man, we have a great team. Those guys have filled that gap, and they're better superintendents, they're better project managers than I ever could be. So, I rest very well at night
Yeah.
because we just have a great team, man, running things back there. Yeah.
Man, so we talked about this yesterday that hiring A players is a real like trendy term, but prior to that, you have to build a business worth attracting A players. And it sounds
Yeah.
like that's what you've been living out. Like how'd you navigate that? Like how did you build the business that would attract that high quality, high caliber type person to come and
Yeah.
work alongside you?
Yeah. I mean, that's a phenomenal question. Honestly, it's so multifaceted. It's hard to get into completely, but I'd say number one, just being easier to work with. We're not super harsh on our guys, but at the same time, like we're just trying to hire dudes with, experience that we enjoy being around. And so, you find one of those people, and we have found, those guys, and they attract more people, right? Like, hey, I got a friend, or hey, I got
Yeah.
a buddy, or so and so. These guys are good to work with. And so I would say that people that are enjoying what they're doing, their job, are likely to bring in other people that are likely to enjoy,
Yeah.
their job and what they're doing.
So
So
you're hiring for character and culture, not necessarily just like experience, knowledge, or skill set.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We have one guy. I won't throw his name out there now, but yeah, he's a 50-year-old something dude, man. A phenomenal HVAC installer. He's been around. He knows how to do every single trade, and he just fit in. He just got along with all of us. It's a smooth ship, and so I'd rather have a bunch of people that love working with one another than people with great credentials or a great resume.
Yeah.
I hire more so on enjoyability. Honestly, how do we work? How do we work well together? I've heard this great statement. It's you want to work with somebody before you work with them. And so that guy, we worked with each other for about 2 years. He's a subcontractor, and then we're like, we like working with each other. Let's actually
Yeah.
work with
Yeah.
one another. Come on our team full time. So that's how it worked out. Yeah.
How did your systems change when you came out to Arizona? Because obviously being in person versus being remote are completely different processes.
Yeah, so day one, 2016, my father passed away. I'm the superintendent. So I'm in the weeds. I'm at the job site. I'm, the guy with the coffee at 7 a.m. with the plans in his truck kind of thing. And so I grew through that project management. And so I was brought up essentially, if you will, hands-on in construction. And so that was hard to break, to be honest with you. Like it was actually hard to kind of figure out how to create systems, how to not create a culture and an environment where everybody comes to me for every single answer. Because I know the answer. It's not a question of that. Is it the best thing to do to come to me for the answer?
Yeah.
And the answer is no, for sure not. Because like then I'm building a job, right? I'm building something that revolves around myself and not around a task that
Yeah, they become dependent on you. You no longer own the system that runs the business without you. You have to be the chief problem solver.
Yeah.
And so you're training your people to depend on you. I call this the badge of honor, right? Where it's like, yeah, I can answer every question. I know how to do everything.
Feels great,
Yeah. Need to be needed gets scratched.
Yep.
It's like, this is awesome until it's not.
Exactly. Yeah. So preparing to come to Arizona, I had to delegate. I had to delegate some things, and I went through a learning process where I had to step back, and it wasn't overnight. It wasn't super simplistic.
So you did it ahead of time.
I did it ahead of time. I tried to do it way ahead of time, and it didn't work. I hired the wrong people. Then before actually moving, we had it figured out pretty decent. Project manager in place. It wasn't flawless. But now being out here 2 years,
What were the key hires that you made in order to make the transition? Project manager?
elevating a superintendent actually who was younger, who'd worked for my dad. He started working for my dad when he was like 15, and he's still with us like over a decade later.
Come on.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, neighbor across the street. My dad recruited him young, I guess, but perfect fit culturally. Elevated him to project manager. Really easygoing, objective, consistent, independent type worker. He has a great handle on everything. And most importantly, above all, I'd say he's capable and able to maintain the relationships with our subcontractors because they've known him as long as they've known me. So that went a long way. Yeah. So that was the best move.
How do you think about this dynamic with your superintendents and your project managers and how they complement each other, work well together? Because I see this where there's sometimes in construction companies in particular where there's that overlapped or butting of heads where their complementary skill sets aren't necessarily seen as a positive thing.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
navigate that?
Yeah. I mean, again, it comes down to culture. Like, I like to hire people that I enjoy being around.
Yep.
And so, like, if you're like a hard controller type personality, you're super extremely direct, and you're not flexible, teachable, or willing to hear someone else's opinion. Like, this isn't the team for you, pretty
Mm.
much. And so, I don't run into a lot of issue between PMs and supers, because what we've discovered is that our superintendent most of the time, like, they call the PM or they call maybe me for a technical construction question. What we've actually done is we rerouted them to our architect. So we have a great local architect in Detroit,
Okay.
done a ton of deals with, and our team gets along great with them. So most of the time they're kind of keeping us, like myself or our PM, kind of out of the loop a tad, because most of the technical questions can be answered by the architect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you make the transition out to Arizona. What slapped you in the face when you got out here in terms of system or process that you were like, oh, didn't
I
realize
was
we
gonna
needed
say
that?
systems or processes. I think you're gonna say the heat. For sure, the heat slapped me in the face a tad. It was the end of June. But systems and processes,
Like what broke when you moved out here?
yeah. What broke? Okay.
What did you not foresee happening that was maybe an oversight or something that somebody else could learn from?
I would say, I realized the level of reliance on myself. I was having I was having superintendents call me every single day at first for the first 6 months.
Okay.
Every technical question was routed to me. Tried a couple superintendents out. It didn't work. Realized that we probably just needed to change our system a little bit. I needed those folks to be routed to our project manager. And what was happening is essentially the chain of command was skipping over my project manager, coming straight to me, and it wasn't sustainable. But I can say, fortunately, at any point, I've never had to go back like abruptly for like an emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do go back, still once every 4 to 6 weeks, check on all the projects, meet with all the guys, meet with some of our customers, kind of maintain and make sure that everything's flowing, everything's looking like we want it to look like. And yeah, I've been very fortunate.
It's awesome. So now where are you headed? Like what's next?
Yeah, what's next? Super pumped, like I said, about that 25 unit townhome development in Detroit, build and hold. It's been a couple years in the making.
Yeah.
It's got some components to it, really excited about. And then also out here in Arizona, man, we have an awesome development. It's a 6-unit luxury townhouse development with 3 commercial units. We're in my hometown now, Fountain Hills, and private residences, 4-story roof deck, private elevators. It's just going to be an awesome development, something super unique. We can't wait to break ground on it in about a month or so.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Is everything going forward going to be for yourself or are you still exploring opportunities with clients, customers?
Yeah, so about 80% of it is our own projects at this point.
Okay.
I have 2 really great customers at 2 different developments. So if they want to rinse and repeat, we will. We might take some clients on very, very selectively, but the goal is to build a fully integrated development and building company that essentially would fund all of our own developments. But I'm not against working with some really nice people, some great people.
Yeah. Kind of back to that culture character piece. Like if they're a good fit.
Do we get along? Do we enjoy each other? When we're together, like, is it bringing joy into our life or is it bringing tension? And literally it comes down to that simple question for me. It's like, hey, do they like me? Do I like them? Do we want to work together for a couple of years? And I can say that with these 2 customers, it's been that way. Yeah.
That's awesome. We use this in my business where we say we work with high quality people to solve high quality problems. And we work with people who take their business serious, but don't take themselves too serious.
I like that.
And it's been so helpful in clarifying to the point that we actually dropped a couple of clients last year because we're like, they're not solving high quality problems, right? They take themselves way too serious. And that's just that's not the vibe. It's not like you mentioned, like it's not the good fit for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's awesome that you can like identify that, put your finger on it.
Yeah. I like it. It's like when I go home at the end of the day, am I more likely to bring home like a positive or joyful presence to my family, or am I less likely?
Yeah.
And if the customer has an influence that's less than neutral, then the answer is it's not a good fit for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's joyful, man, or if it's neutral, like, hey, man, let's do business all day long. Let's rock and roll. Let's build some things together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if somebody like that has a project coming up, what kind of thing would fit the mold for what you're looking for, where you could help
yeah,
them?
yeah. Specifically in Detroit, it's got to be in a good area. Honestly, it's got to be the right area. Like we just shot down a development the other day that was on the edge of where we were comfortable with, to be honest. And so
Just geographically?
geographically, yeah, it's just on the edge, and I wasn't confident that it would sell well enough. And when that happens, and the product or the project won't perform, I mean, essentially, it would flow down to the GC eventually, but potentially,
Yeah.
right, if there's a financial
Yeah,
issue.
you're left
So
holding the bag.
yeah, so I got to believe in it. I really have to believe in the location. I have to believe in the individual. And so I'd say it's almost got to be a referral. Like we have to
Mm.
know someone neutral, I would say. It's got to be a great location, and it's got to fit in the timeline for my team and I to be able to actually effectively execute.
Yeah.
So there has to be a lot of alignment. Yeah.
What about
multiple things.
size? Like,
Yeah, size. So I mean, we're building for other people anywhere from like 12 to 50 units in Detroit right now. So I'd say that's a pretty good range.
both apartments and
Yeah,
townhomes? Okay.
yeah, apartments and townhouses.
And you're
Yeah,
no longer doing any of the single family custom home, none of that.
no custom homes.
Okay.
Yeah, no more custom homes.
What about out here in Arizona? Same
Exact
criteria?
vibe. Yeah, same
Okay.
exact thing. And so in Arizona, I would say we actually wouldn't be looking for customers. We got our hands, more full out here with our first development, and looking to do a second development. I won't announce too much about it right now, but we're working on one.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little bit bigger than this first phase. Yeah.
Dude, awesome, man.
Thanks.
Well, we want to see you make it happen. So
Appreciate it.
we'll stay in touch, stay tuned, and see the progress.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Ian.
Sweet, man.